How does this stuff actually work? If I get a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, that just means I have to pay $106,000 over the course of 30 years? Or there's a catch, right? The 6% compounds annually? Somehow I end up paying $150,000 plus over the 30 years? Look at an amortization schedule. I'm not your heckin' teacher. Compounds annually. Dunno much about it, but I heard it's set up so that you end up paying mainly the interest early on, because 6% of the full value is higher than 6% when you only owe 10% near the end. That just means I have to pay $106,000 over the course of 30 years, yes. LOL, these interest rates are straight bullcrap usury. Somehow 6% means you still end up paying 2x plus the amount of the loan. Makes no heckin' sense. Since this is a dump question thread, can I take a mortgage out in a country that offers 30-year fixed terms since my country only does 5 then? You have to negotiate or some bullcrap. Total principal paid, $100,000. Total interest paid, $115,838.19. Say you pay $10K the first year. $6K goes to interest and you pay off $4K of the $100K. Next year you have $96K left to pay and your interest payment for that year is now 6% of $96K. It's a scam, pay it off as heckin' quick as possible with interest rates this high. 6% every year, not in total. Okay, get a financial calculator and input these numbers. N equals 30 times 12 equals 360. PMT equals X. IY equals 6/12. If it's APR, also don't use decimal here, use it as is because tiny hat magic. If stated as a different rate, I ain't telling how to convert that ish. FV equals 0, PV equals loan amount equals 100K. Heck, you silly heads are stupid. It's 6% a year and on. You have to send 6K to your loan officer like once throughout the year. You'll be okay, doesn't really matter when, just as long as you get it to him mailed via check or something. Zoomers are silly. This thread is proof that most biz posters are literal silly heads. Baby's first home loan is always a formative moment. Absolute state of biz. It's 6% yearly. Remember, this kind of silly heads are the ones giving you investment advice. Wrong, you're paying 6% interest weekly/monthly of 100K over those 30 years. You'll end up paying back a lot more than just 6K. My mortgage at the moment is $240K at 2.69% with repayments at $243 and I get charged around $550 a month in interest alone. Of course, paying back extra faster helps get the numbers down, but banks like to add in a clause that prevents you from paying over a certain amount each year. 6% compounded hourly, thanks for playing. 360 mortgage payments, $215,838.19. Total interest paid, $115,838.19. Yes. Imagine not buying a house outright and getting a mortgage. Don't forget to factor in closing costs. And the cost for an inspector, get a third-party one too and not one suggested by your realtor. Also, I'd highly suggest still having a lot of savings ready afterwards for any unforeseen repairs. Try to make the seller fix as much as possible before closing too. Really, the issue is borrowing money for 30 years at 6%. Traditionally, a long-term loan was up to 10 years. A 30-year loan is anal rape to help poor people buy homes. Just pay it once and on. I don't have the brain for the mortgage stuff. I think it's even cheaper now paying with crypto. Reminder that the US dollar has lost more than half of its value over 30 years. One of the real reasons why I'd switch to Web3-based loan systems. Glad Me Corp is already stepping up to this. Current mortgage systems are so messy and intractable. It's not just the interest. The way the banks set these loans up is that your payments for the first 5 or 10 years are almost entirely interest. You barely make any payment on principal for the first years, unless you pay extra. Every dollar extra you pay towards principal translates into like $3 or $4 you save over the life of the loan, for extra principal payments in the first few years. The bad part of this is that you can pay on a mortgage for years and the bank got its interest up front, and then you lose your job or for whatever reason can't make the payments, and you have almost no equity in the house, since hardly any of the money went to principal early on. Your mortgage payments for the first 5 or 10 years on a 30-year work basically like rent payments. Moral of the story, make extra principal payments, starting at the first payment. You pay the bank $6K a year for the privilege to be allowed to keep paying off the house, which you pay for WTH everything you give them in 1 year over the $6K.